All right, guys, here we go with the watch list video for Wednesday, May 22nd. Showing the SPY. It's really kind of coiling and a very, very narrow range today and pretty low volume as well. So we're kind of in no man's land. Is it going to break up or down? Who knows? Headline risk for both sides. Let me slide this over real quick. I already made a video today highlighting some of the calls in chat, trying to explain why we call what we call, because it's never random, and I'm trying to teach newer traders just through these videos, whether you're a member in our room or not, that there are intelligent entries out there, and there's no reason to ever just blindly chase somebody's call. So here's a few, and I'm not going to go into the reasons in this video because I already made a video, so check my YouTube feed if you want to check them out. But a couple of really nice calls by Wayne there, JMIA, DFRG. I gave VERI as an idea through over 815, and that went to 872. So there's a few. Again, I didn't even go into Wayne's Tesla call as well, and there were some others. So I did waste a good portion of my life stuck in that OTLK, which never gave me a trigger, which was pretty aggravating. But anyway, that'll be back on watch tomorrow. So here's a list of what I'm watching tomorrow. JMU, I didn't think was going to make the list, but it closed kind of strong. Had an early high of 216, pretty big volume, and closing, kind of close to its highs. To me, maybe the whole number 2 comes into play tomorrow as well. So I am going to watch JMU. VERI, again, this was called long today in chat. What did I say, 816, something like that. It had this big pop here, and it's really kind of flagging and starting to curl up out of that flag. So certainly might have a follow-through day tomorrow. MARA, again, there's nothing really handsome about this chart. Let me see if I can slide this over. This is sort of my, you can see right there, 2-hour candle. Each one of these candles is 2 hours. So it's showing Bitcoin really kind of holding up pretty well. It's been kind of battling today around 8,000. It's trading right now, and it's up over 8,000. If it starts to break up to this area, maybe challenge recent highs, that's when I become interested in MARA. It's kind of my go-to Bitcoin stock, if you will. So that one's worth watching, but only with a big Bitcoin rally. WKHS, a couple members in chat posted this today before it broke out. It actually looked, we had this on the bounce play watch list, and they posted it when it started to curl up here. They posted the volume spike. Anyone in the chat, anyone and everyone in the chat could have had it as a Tokyo before it broke 140, and it ended up ripping. So when you go back to the daily, it still closed pretty strong, so maybe even a follow-through day tomorrow, so that one goes on watch. Some real nice heads up, great teamwork in the chat room today on that one. OTLK, already talked about this a little bit. Now, this is really, really extended, okay? 5 sessions ago, this was 85 cents. And it just ripped again. Today, an inside day. And if you look at this on a 5-minute basis, there's your opening 5-minute candle. It went from, let's see what the high, 322, and the low was 270 in the opening 5 minutes. And it stayed in that range all day. I spent so much time looking for that 320 break. And it came here and flagged. This is when I really loved it. Okay, I thought, okay, actually, I ended up changing my idea in chat to 318. I said, if it breaks this little flag, I'm going to get long. I fully expect it to then rip through that 320 seller, take out the high of day, take out that afternoon spike from yesterday, and take out yesterday's high. That's what we call stacked catalysts. And it looks like almost dominoes lined up, right? And instead, it went this way. And came up and challenged that area a few times. So anyway, that one was on my radar all day and never gave me a trigger, but it held up pretty well. Now, normally, I wouldn't have something like this on long watch because it's so extended. And this could easily break hard to the downside as well. But, with the inside day, as a day trader, I've got to keep an eye on that, see if it gives a low-risk intraday setup. We could get a quick squeeze in it again. You never know. TAIT bounced yesterday. Is really beaten up after a big move, then really beaten up. And had a bounce yesterday, kind of topped out right below 4. Today, just an inside day. So I still like this as a potential long. It's holding the 50-day. I like it, maybe over today's high over 390. Certainly over yesterday's high over 4. Might get a decent bounce. DFFN. This is one of those. It's a handsome chart. I can't figure out why it's running. But it had this big pop back here. Over 12 million shares. Topped out at 649. And then, sideways chopping around between $4 and $5 for a couple weeks, and then today kind of breaking out on a little bit extra volume and closing pretty close to its high of day. So this is a handsome chart pattern, but again, I can't figure out why it's moving. It is a low float stock, so I think this is one of my favorite daily charts for tomorrow. So I want to keep an eye on that one. AKRX had this pop back here. It's really just kind of flagging, right? I'm looking for a breakout of this flag, so having it on a chart could help me get that if it happens. OBLN, there's nothing compelling here. It's one of the uglier charts in the world. Closed at 38.5 cents. I really usually don't like penny stocks, but in after hours it's trading at 55 cents, and certainly up over this early May high of 64.5, 65 cents. It's got some room to run. So it did get some after hours news. So that's going to be kind of my sleeper potential gap play tomorrow. But as I said, I don't really like the under $1 stocks. MAXR, just another red day, right? It was up nicely here. And if you really start back here from 5, over the course of a couple weeks, it went to 905. It doesn't look like much here because all the way back here, the chart was over 50. So I'd have to kind of zoom in for you to see it better. But this is a pretty nice move from 5 to over 9. That's almost a double. And now you've got, what, 4 or 5 days down in a row, right near the 20-day. So there were no triggers on it today, right? It was on bounce watch, and it doesn't cost me anything if something is on a chart and it doesn't trigger. I do like the fact that it's down here kind of testing this breakout area, right? You had this flag and then it broke. It's now testing that breakout area, plus it's near the 20. A pretty good chart, actually, for a potential bounce tomorrow. That's MAXR and a couple more. BYND. Yesterday in the video, I said I'm going to put it on bounce watch, but I would prefer another red day. We got that today, a pretty nice red day from 88.75 all the way down to 76.76. And we're below the 8-day now. You don't have a 20-day or anything else because this hasn't been trading long enough. But I do think it's worth watching for a potential bounce play tomorrow, only with a proper intraday setup. And speaking of recent IPOs, LK has only been trading for 3 days. I've seen people call this the Chinese Starbucks. Opening day, it went to 25.96. And now it's all the way down at 17.33. So there's no chart to go on here other than recent IPO. They're calling it the Chinese Starbucks, and it's straight down for 3 days. What's that one? Lyft. Lyft did that, right? Lyft opened, and then on the 3rd day, gapped down and reversed, and then got ugly again, by the way. But at some point, you don't need a big chart history to know that, hey, this thing so far has done nothing but sell, and it's certainly worth watching for a turn back up. So that's my list. I do like some of these, and we'll add some potential gappers in the morning to this list. And can't say enough about the teamwork in chat. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you all in chat tomorrow.